On this day, in 2018, 20,000 people invaded a Marriott hotel in Anaheim. They rioted, they forced their way into a beautiful and perfectly planned event. The only thing that went wrong with the event was the attendees. Except that's not what happened. I know, because I was there. So, you wanted a video intro. Hey, I'm Amanda and you're watching Swell Entertainment. Now I know that opening was really stupid, but I'm sticking with it. It has been 1 year since Tanacon. Some stuff has happened, and a lot of stuff that was supposed to happen has not happened, so I thought I would make this video to compile some stuff leading up to the event itself, and things that have happened since the event, and also interview some other attendees. If you watched my Tanacon vlog and my I tried going to Tanacon so you don't have to video, you know my experience with Tanacon, so I wanted to interview others to give other people's experiences as well.
Hi, I'm Lissa Ray.
So I am Lauren Gavornik. I go by Lauren Gab on Instagram.
Hi, I'm Margot now.
Hello, my name is Elixir.
Because of the state of ruin of fair use on YouTube, in an effort to avoid being copyright claimed, unless I have permission from the person who uploaded it, I will only be using stills from videos for this video. Any videos that I talk about will be linked down below in the description box. On April 2nd, 2018, Tana Mojo posted a video to her YouTube channel titled Why I Won't Be Attending VidCon 2018, a Rant. In this video, she talked about her previous experiences with VidCon, including how she believed they mistreated her and how they told her leading up to multiple events that she was going to be a featured creator, and then when the lineup came out, turns out she wasn't, which led to safety hazards for both Tana, other attendees, and Tana's fans due to mobbing. She was removed from the event multiple years and supposedly banned in 2017. At the end of this video, she talked about the possibility that she and other people who have been removed from VidCon in the past should get together to do a free meet and greet type of event the same weekend as VidCon at a hotel in the same area. Keep in mind, at this time, it's 2 months prior to VidCon. The response from both creators and fans and non-fans was huge in support of Tana.
I was a viewer of Tana at the time. I did not like her for a really long time, and then I kind of started to respect like her grind a little bit. I started to think it was cool that she was just sort of like YouTube, pretty much everything that Tanacon was based on. And then when she was like, we're actually gonna do this, I was like, that's hilarious. One of my friends volunteered at VidCon and was there when Tana was kicked out, waiting for a full year to hear Tana tell that story. And then she told the story and then announced Tanacon. So I was like, well, I gotta go to this one.
So I remember Tana making the VidCon debut video. I knew that she was going to do something big, but I knew that I didn't have the funds to do whatever I saw her planning. I found her through her collab with Shane that she did a few years back, so I kind of gravitated to her page, and by the point that Tanacon came around, I was watching her page pretty consistently. I was never a die-hard fan. I liked the position that she was in doing this whole convention. So okay. I would say I was definitely a fan at that point.
People were upset on her behalf on how she had been treated, and other creators even came out with videos about their own experiences with VidCon. On April 20th, Tana posted a Get High With Me 420 edition, where she talked about how she was dropping Tanacon merch, and she talked about how they were looking at the possibility of doing a Tanacon type of event the same weekend as VidCon. On May 26th, Tana tweeted out a link to the Tanacon ticket website through Good Times Live. The tweet said, Tanacon is here and freer than ever. Because of Tana's video, the possibility of meeting creators, and also the low price even for VIP, both people that were fans of Tana and those who weren't could not click this link fast enough. Very quickly after Tana had tweeted the link out, there were reports that the free tickets had sold out within 2 minutes.
I went because it was cheaper than VidCon, because I'd never been to a convention, and because I got the weekend off, and I was like, I want to see what this show is, and then it ended up being bigger than we could have imagined.
I had thought about going to VidCon, but by the time I had looked at tickets, they were so expensive that I just could not afford it. The next day, I had seen an ad for Tanacon, and I went, oh my gosh, it's quarter of the price, I need to go. I saw it as a business opportunity because I've always wanted to be a YouTuber, I've always wanted to grow my little channel, and I was like, this is my opportunity to go and meet these people and pick their brains a little bit.
When I saw that she had the ticket price set at such a low amount, free for general admission, and then VIP at, I can't remember the exact price.
Turned on her notifications just so I could click the link to get the ticket right away. So I did it, and they were already filled out of the free tickets. right when I clicked on it. So I was suspicious. There were no free tickets at all.
I know I purchased whichever one was like $60-ish.
You bought the VIP ticket.
Yes, I did.
I don't want to buy a Tanacon ticket because I was already going to VidCon.
The second I bought the ticket, I sat there and I went, you know, this could not happen. This could be an entire scam. I had that thought from the day I bought the ticket. But I was looking at, you know, the silver lining. I was like, but it could be true. I could have this great opportunity.
Michael Weist was the CEO of the now liquidated company Good Times Live that helped put on Tanacon alongside Tana. From what I understand, Good Times had a working relationship with Tana because Good Times helped put on Tana's tour prior to Tanacon. Leading up to the event, it was constantly brought up by Tana in interviews and on Twitter that this was a mostly free event, but that VIP was there if you wanted extra stuff and perks. There were also reported issues with tickets and meet and greet passes early on.
The first time around, I actually bought the tickets as soon as I saw Shane's lineup. Like a few days leading up to when we were supposed to leave, I never got confirmation or anything. Like I got an email basically just saying, you know, oh, like, thank you for purchasing, what, yada, yada, yada. I knew that was in there in my inbox. So I went, you know, the days leading up to Tanacon, and I looked for it, and it was nowhere to be found in my email at all. So the first batch, I got no word back. I called a million times. I contacted them through email. My parents just said, you know what, go ahead, buy another set of tickets. Like, you're not hearing back from them. You need to have something.
Tana did interviews with major publications leading up to the day of the event, including one with Forbes. The whole event became more of a reality the more creators asked to be added to the lineup. But when Shane Dawson confirmed that he wanted to be involved, the whole thing was set in stone. Tanacon was happening, and it was going to have Shane Dawson, a huge creator who did not go to events like these.
I was a fan of Nate Garner. I can pick his brain and see how he's grown his following. I am a fan of Shane Dawson. When I found out he was going, it made it feel a lot more like tangible. Shane Dawson's coming. I was like, all right, this is legit. Shane Dawson's involved. He doesn't do these kind of events. This is a big deal.
I just saw a bunch of YouTubers coming out and supporting it and saying, you know, guys, this is going to be a huge event. By the time that I saw Shane would be a part of it, I had booked it pretty much the same hour.
Oh, Shane Dawson is behind this? Like, it must be legit. We were all bamboozled.
The hotel was too small for this event. It does not matter what claims were made in Shane's documentary, Tana's documentary, Michael's documentary. This hotel was too small, and common sense should have tipped off someone that these many people would not fit in that hotel. The numbers 20,000 and 15,000 were pulled out from somewhere and sped around, that on the day of the event, 20,000 people had showed up to the hotel. No.
Yeah, I guess at the time I might have thought 20,000 people showed up because that's what everyone was saying, but then it came out only 5,000 people showed up.
The tweets when I was in line there and she started saying like 20,000 people, I remember at that moment saying, there's no way this is 20,000 people. And the girls around me being like, I don't know, this is a lot of people. And I was like, this is like maybe 5,000 people. I don't know where the number came from. I do think either somebody told her, hey, tweet this, or she just was like, oh my god, I'm gonna tweet this. And then it was like, that became the official number. And then they just stuck to it. Like, they like would not let it go.
That's not 15,000 people. 15,000 people is a football stadium. That is ridiculous. That is a sold out concert. You guys didn't have the space to accommodate even the people who did show up. So the people who randomly showed up, doesn't matter if it was 20,000 or 10. You didn't have the space to accommodate them.
After the event, the city of Garden Grove issued a statement saying that about 1,400 people were escorted from inside the hotel and about 4,500 were escorted off the premises of the parking lot. Still too many people, but on par with what they were expecting, which was about 5,500 people. Yes, there were people like Elixir who showed up without passes, but Tana also set up a precedent by routinely saying it's a free event, that you could do that. You could show up without a pass. They're lucky more people didn't show up. And even if more people like Elixir without passes did show up, it couldn't have been more than 150 to 300 people, because the number of people reported by the city of Garden Grove is on par with the amount of tickets that they sold, shown clearly in Michael's documentary. But we're not there yet. One of the main issues with this event was the obvious lack of planning when it came to the process of registration, which is where a majority of the problems stem from. What time did you get in line?
8:45.
Okay.
Maybe 9.
And how long did you wait?
5.5 hours.
I must have gotten there either a little before 10 or right around 10, thinking, all the lines will have gone in. I might have like missed a couple of things, but I wasn't really there for the things, you know. I just wanted to observe. I was literally outside for 5 hours.
One reason I got so sunburnt was because I told him, like, I'm only gonna be in line for like half an hour, maybe an hour at most. I don't need the sunscreen. I'll be fine.
We had it in the car.
And we had it in the car. And I was like, no, I'm gonna be okay. It's gonna be no more than an hour.
It was very clear to me that it was not consistent in the way they were letting people in. There was no security check at all. You just walk in the building. We all had bags in the line as far as I saw. Even if it was just a Tanacon bag, what a crock of shit that was.
She just like looked at me, she went, VIP or free? And I was like, VIP, and then she asked like the 6 girls around me, she's like, what are you? They all said VIP. She takes like a handful of lanyards, just sticks it out, we just had to take it, and she gave us badges.
I remember getting a few emails that were sort of like, hey, in preparation for Tanacon, and they didn't have like a lot of information. And then I remember getting an email the night before Tanacon, and it was like, you know, the lines will be long, like that whole email. And then there was a part at the end. It said like, there will be no refunds no matter what, and like a smiley face. I was like, uh-oh. I didn't have to show anything. They just were handing people stuff. People weren't even getting bags, and they were like going over to boxes and getting their own bags.
The girl just made it clear that they did not run by anything that was going to make sure that this convention ran smoothly.
On any level, it was just very poorly done.
My sunburn was mild compared to a good deal of the others, and even then, it still peeled like a bitch. Even before people had been waiting in line for hours in the sun, people had started questioning whether or not there were free tickets to begin with.
All of a sudden, everyone realized they had VIP out in the line, and we were like, then why the fuck aren't we inside right now?
You didn't see anyone with a free pass?
No, did you?
I saw one person just in, like, while I was editing my video.
Because I wasn't gonna, like, get in line and be like, hey, I have VIP, you know? Like, so we were kind of, like, not really talking about it. When we kind of started saying, like, wait, what kind of ticket do you have? Does anyone around us have free? I was like, are you f***ing kidding me? This is a scam! No one believed it. All the girls around me were like, no, people got free tickets. And I was like, nah, dude, I don't think so. They lied. They said, you can show up and go in for free.
The fact that there were free tickets seemed really weird and suspicious to me. I sat there, I was like, who just gives out like 5,000 free tickets?
Was there anyone that you met while you were there? Did they mention that they got the free ticket at all?
No, none.
Security was also quite the issue. Did anyone try and stop you when you were walking in?
While I was inside, there were guards telling everyone to leave. Walked by them. They didn't bother trying to get me. I actually asked a guard if I could go on the stage to get a better angle to film, because they said, hey, I'm recording. Could I go on the stage to film? But they didn't let me. So instead I just walked through a door, got backstage.
You did go and find Tana and Bella and all of them. You had no intention of finding anyone, right? You just were like, I found a door that's open, I'm gonna see how far this takes me.
Maybe I had the idea that the featured people would be there. The person who kicked me out was a photographer. It's because he didn't want me to film when Tana and her manager were talking.
Speaking of security, that was also the moment that I was like, they can't get away with this. This could have gone very badly. The worst of the worst you can imagine. They are so lucky that something really bad didn't happen.
In the beginning, they were doing bag checks and using metal detectors, but by the time I got in around 12:30, they had stopped. Because you never actually made it inside,
No,
did
I
you?
never.
Okay.
I made it right up until the point where they were doing bag checks, and by the time I got there, all the metal detectors were on the floor and pushed under tables, and everyone has gone. I saw security all like pack into like a little golf cart and just leave altogether.
Did you get your bag checked? Because they stopped checking bags by the time
There was
I got
nobody
up
there to even check my bag.
The event had no food or water. The hotel had both a Starbucks and a gift shop, and both had ridiculous lines because people had been out in the sun starving and thirsty for hours.
The further we got in line, the more Starbucks we would see. The cups just lined up on the curbs.
Yeah.
And it was like 30 cups, 40 cups.
I had like ordered us pizza in the line too. Like I had
The
like done
infamous Postmates pizza. How long had you been in line before you ordered the pizza?
for a while. Because it was at a point where it was really hot. We mostly needed water, and we were getting hungry. And so I was like, some people had gone off and got Starbucks and came back. I was like, I'm ordering pizza. And so I like Postmated it to the hotel. Me and another girl went and grabbed it. I ordered like 7 waters. There were only like a few of us, but I was like, does anyone need water? Like I became the mom of the line, and I was like, we're getting out of here alive.
After the wedding, yes, there was a wedding, security had started blocking people who had entered the lobby from re-entering the main hall of the event at about 1:30, 2 o'clock. Soon after, they began removing people from the main ballroom, the meet and greet rooms, and even cleared out the bathrooms. I managed to stay in the main event, which is where I saw they had started letting more people in from outside as they were clearing out the first group, which is when I believe Margot got in.
I got in at around the same time that Tana and Bella came out with the water. It had already been announced that it was being canceled. Everyone inside had already been pushed out. Literally the moment I got to the tent, a woman came out and stood up on a table and said, unfortunately, we're gonna have to close it down or whatever. And I was like, I don't care what's happening, I'm getting inside. I want to at least see what's going on in there and like at least get some air conditioning. Got out of line and went to this like big crowd that was crowding around the doors, and everyone started like chanting like let us in, and I was like they're not going to, like it doesn't matter. And then they started to, then they like opened one door of the like 6 doors and were like filing people in.
A few musical acts came on, including Big Nick and Gabby Hanna, which was clearly just the organizers trying to kill time while they figured out what they could do.
Big Nick was on the stage doing some rapping.
It's Big fucking Nick! It's Big Nick!
Yo, where's the music at?
I didn't realize that like none of this was planned.
They aren't even rapping it! I feel like I'm at a Jake Paul event. I feel like I'm at a middle school dance. It's like hot and sweaty and like half the lights just got turned on. Alright you guys, well guess what? We've got more. We have more. But we're gonna change up the vibe a little bit.
You should know these songs if you do something singing. Oh yeah.
He doesn't even have a mic stand.
Let's turn it down a little bit.
Before we get back to all the panels and all the Q&As, alright? Start some more music. This poor girl. Right. You look great, sweetie. Love the velvet pants.
What would be Tanacon if something horrible didn't happen?
She just took someone's phone to play Hefner off of because I guess they didn't have it up and ready at on the computer.
I take 10% like I rep her. We don't take my check hurts. Your bitch can be breathing, her neck hurts. I can count higher than 21.
Put your phone down. Act like you care.
At some point during this time, a young attendee was escorted out of the hotel on a stretcher. Or inside and saw the girl not only being loaded onto the stretcher but being escorted out. Did you ever find out what happened? And also props to you for blurring her face because a lot of people did not.
No, I don't know what happened.
Between 3 and 4:30 is when they shut down the event officially and they escorted people outside of the hotel and officers cleared the premises.
Wait, this is exactly like Tana being a featured creator.
And then we walked outside. I was like older than most of the people I was around. The way that people were like talking to these kids, I was like, they paid to be here. Like, it's not their fault that this has fallen apart. So you guys need to like chill out. Also, none of their parents are here. These kids can't drive. They can't call Ubers. There's nothing they can do. And they were like screaming at kids to get out of the lobby. A girl in our group lost her ID and was trying to get back in to find it. And they were like not even listening to her. And then they started pushing us like off the premises. Mm-hmm. And for me, I'm like, I can just walk to my car and drive away. But I was like, there's all these like teens that don't have a place to go.
They're kicking people off now.
Where are we supposed to go? No one knows what's happening.
Tana Mojo owes me money. Policeman, like, as if we're doing something wrong.
So your back was pushed against the divider, or you were
It was,
pushed forward?
I was technically pushed up against a table, which was pushed up against the divider, and then it got to the point where I had to kind of climb over the table. So then I was straddling the table. So I had bruises on like the inside of my thighs. God. And then the table fell over. The divider started falling. That's when Alex came over. And it was leaning up against like a cement pole. And then he was kind of like leaning against it on the other side. And I was just like telling him, I was like, dude, this is insane. Like, I can't do this. Like, get me out of here. And he's like, I don't know if I can get you out.
Did you ever think it was like a riot happening?
Oh, yeah.
You did?
I was seeing like water bottles flying overhead.
Oh, okay.
There were people just like, I remember I turned around and the little boxes that the badges were in, somebody had picked up the box and just threw it. So all the badges were like flying everywhere. People were grabbing the badges. Like, we'll get in tomorrow. Grab the badges.
While the shutdown was happening, Shane Dawson and Tana were both tweeting, and Tana did a live stream to address the shutdown.
I'm back in my car, as you can see, and I just watched Tana's live video. Like, I'm not shocked. I'm just disappointed because she, like, doesn't even really apologize. She was very like, everything was amazing today, and it's going to be amazing, and we're gonna make it amazing, and everything's amazing, and I'm like, everything's not amazing.
Again, that 20,000 number popped up. Shane started talking about how he wanted to try and get to the bottom of how Tanacon devolved the way that it did, and how he had a bad feeling about the whole thing. That night, people began reporting, myself included, about their experiences with Tanacon. Rumors circulated that Tanacon Day 2 was not going to be happening, even though Good Times continued to say that they had another venue lined up.
Like, I wasn't planning on driving back down there the next day, even if they did move it to a different place. I think I emailed them that day, you know, what's gonna happen? Are people gonna get refunded? Should I talk to my bank?
On June 23rd, the day 2 that wasn't, Tana was radio silent between 4 a.m. and 9 p.m. after she had tweeted out that she was in a security meeting trying to figure out how to house 20,000 people safely. I got to the hotel for Tanacon Day 2 after Michael Weist had finished his weird press conference in his sweatpants where he said he would only take 3 questions, where I got confirmation from other people that were there and also the hotel that the whole event was canceled.
I was staying in the hotel that it was held at. It was all packed up and gone. Everything was there. The little guard fences were all gone.
Around 9 p.m., Tana sent out a flurry of tweets talking about the shutdown, some of what went wrong, and promised free merch, refunds, and paid travel expenses for attendees if you emailed her.
I saw her efforts, but it almost looked like damage control to me. It looked like somebody who knew they were in the wrong, but knew that the only way that they felt they could fix it was monetarily or with materialistic items. I don't want merch from a convention that, you know, killed thousands of, like, fans' dreams.
I didn't believe them. I figured it was just her trying to, like, get people to not turn on her, you know?
Did anyone try and contact you whatsoever?
I'm convinced they don't even know that Jenna and Julian have a podcast. Not that I was expecting it. I definitely wasn't like, this is a way to, like, you know, get back at Tana or anything like that. I was like, I love Jenna and Julian. I remember somebody asking, like, what if Tana, like, reaches out to you and, like, apologizes, which, how funny. I'm not surprised that she hasn't tried to make people feel better about it. I did reach out to Michael and, like, Good Times multiple times. Even after I got my refund, I was like, this isn't okay.
Fortunately for us, you know, my parents did gift the tickets as, you know, a late birthday present. Flights, luckily, we had miles saved up. Had my brother not lived out there in Santa Monica, we would have been at a hotel. We definitely got lucky, you know, including, like, going to places and eating and whatnot. I'd say we spent about, like, $300.
How much would you estimate that you spent on travel, hotel accommodations, and food, because there was no food at this event?
It was probably like $250.
$250 in total?
By the time I left.
I didn't want free merch. I didn't want free anything. I didn't want to be reimbursed for my, you know, tank of gas. Getting down to Anaheim was, like, not anything really for me. With the ticket, I guess that's like $90 with the ticket and with pizza.
Tana or Michael reach out to you after the documentary?
While we were with Shane, he did have my sister and I send us, like, a video message, or I think it might have been a voice memo to Tana, just kind of saying, you know, what our thoughts were on the whole thing, and, you know, that we didn't hate her, we just wanted to see some change, we wanted to see some answers.
Was that filmed or was it not?
Might have filmed it, but I think they didn't include it. I don't want to say it didn't add to anything, but I think it would have been a little bit of an odd transition to go from, you know, our story to him talking to Tana in the other room, to us talking to them, you know what I mean? So I think that would have been the only kind of reason why it wouldn't have been included, other than if it was just kind of inaudible.
I've emailed Tana a couple of times at this email that she put out, never heard back. On June 25th, Good Times sent out an email to all attendees through the Veeps ticket website explaining what the goal for Tanacon had been, that they had only planned for 5,000 people to show up, and that we would get refunds, but we had to file for them as long as we filed before January 5th. Otherwise, we could use our passes for free entry to another Good Times event. Now, There was backlash over this, and so eventually on July 4th, Veep sent out another email saying that all we had to do was send them an email to their support email with the email address that we used to register for our tickets to get our refunds, which is how I got my refund. To my knowledge, very few people actually went through Veeps to get their refunds.
I filed a claim and I just waited for my refund and I never got it, so I called my bank, told them what happened. They went, oh, you too?
They said they were non-refundable in the beginning, and then when we saw that it was obvious that that was going to be, overruled, my parents just went ahead and claimed it as credit card fraud. So they got the money back a lot sooner than these people who, had to go through the refund process.
It's like, I'm not waiting around to see what they do.
Oevo, one of the companies sponsoring the event, tweeted out on June 28th that they were upset over how their stickers had been treated and how they had been treated by Good Times Live staff. On the same day, Shane Dawson put out the first episode of his Tanacon docuseries. In it, Shane showed footage from the event, including my vlog, interviewed Tana, Michael, and 2 attendees, Lauren and her sister. Was there anything that you talked about with Shane that didn't make it into the doc, or anything that you wish you had brought up at the time that you didn't?
So I don't think I touched too much on this, even in the parts that were cut out from the documentary, but I did let Shane know that when we got there to Tanacon, we did make it inside, but I do remember at registration, first set of tickets, it was the meetup selection and whatnot. So I did have, I know I said I didn't have a confirmation number for the tickets, the first set, but I had something that would allow me to reserve them. I was already logged into my account or something, so I reserved 2 Shane tickets because I knew they'd sell out, and that was the sole reason that we were going. We reserved these 2 tickets, and now that these tickets were absolutely nowhere to be found in my inbox or anything, so at registration, I explained this to them. I had said, we bought 2 tickets yesterday again because we got no confirmation from you guys. We got nothing saying that, these are reserved and whatever. And the girl had said, we've got no registration of you guys signing up for a meet and greet. She's like, but you can pick between these. And I was like, hey, this is not going to work. I was like, we spent a ridiculous amount of money to just get that set aside. And then we bought another set of tickets just to make sure that we could get in. So I kind of just looked at her and I was like, ma'am, we're here for Shane and that's it. She kind of just looked at me and looked down at her book. And this is the girl, Michael's, right-hand woman. She was the one taking care of this with me, and I kind of just looked at her, and she looked back at me, and she pulled out this binder. She just goes, she looks at me, she makes her, nobody's really near me in line, and kind of just, hands me the tickets and goes, do not tell anybody. If you do, we're both in trouble. Look at the tickets, and they're reserved for Shane's meet and greet. But I thought about it afterward, and I was like, that is an extreme, safety issue. If somebody can just say that they reserved this, if they would have heard me and just said, oh, yeah, I reserved it too, and they just move on and they have this ticket. I just looked at it and I was like, oh gosh, this is not going to be good. We had the confirmation for the 2 tickets, the VIP ticket that we got again, but we had nothing saying that we had the tickets prior. So the tickets that we bought the first time around with the VIP selections and everything, they were absolutely just nowhere to be found.
Were you charged for both sets of tickets?
Absolutely, yeah. She said, this is not good times. Veep should have been on top of this. And I was like, okay, I really don't want to hear pushing blame. I just want to hear, I'm sorry, and we'll take care of it afterwards.
Accusations and footage were thrown back and forth between Tana and Michael. Michael had the now infamous clip of Tana saying that she would love the idea of people waiting outside because people love to be oppressed.
I watched it with my mom.
Okay.
And she just started she was yelling. She's like, this is ridiculous. I can't believe this was your idea to go to this list. And I was like, I saw it as a business opportunity. Sorry, Mom. But I was offended and hurt. I was like, are you kidding me? You're going to jeopardize all of these people's well-being, their money, just so that you can have this?
Regardless of how you feel about all of this and Tana, it doesn't look good. Michael accused Tana of not being as involved in the planning of the event as she had made it seem, and also accused her of not putting forward any of her own money into the event. Also, that claim, we still have no confirmation on whether or not that's true or false or anything, because she just doesn't talk about it. At this point in time, I don't think she put money into it. Tana claimed that Michael had lied to her about how the event was going, and gave her false promises, and that he was lying about losing his house as he had claimed claimed over the events of Tanacon. There really wasn't a lot of progress where those two were involved in the documentary. The documentary moved on to Tana making more accusations against Michael after Michael's interview had concluded. Tana and her cameraman Jordan showing chain footage of the planning of Tanacon, at least the night before the event, that showed that Tana was in fact a little bit more involved than Michael had let on. The final ep of the doc ended with Shane sitting down in front of the camera to talk about some of the facts he'd gathered about Tanacon, including how little was actually spent on security, that Michael had signed a contract with the hotel stating that there was only going to be 1,000 people in attendance of Tanacon.
I talked to a lot of like the people working in the hotel, and they're like, we had no idea. They never talked to us about any of this. Had told us, they were like, we had no idea that any of this was even happening. They're like, we just knew that there was going to be a convention put on by this YouTuber to meet some of her fans.
And that Michael had signed a deal with the ticket company Veeps that in the event of the event being canceled, it would fall on Michael in Good Times to pay everything back. The response to this doc was mostly positive, but some people did believe that Tana had manipulated Shane and that Shane had gone too easy on her because of their friendship.
I think Shane did a great job with the whole series. I think Tana victimized herself a lot more than she needed to.
It was hard to watch. Before the first one, I was like, okay, we can trust Shane to like get to the bottom of this. And I genuinely think he was trying to, but I also think it's hard when it's like muddled with a friendship. The moment that, you know, when they're like sitting on the couch and she's like crying on his shirt or whatever, I was like, we're never gonna get what we wanted out of this.
Could she have been, you know, putting a little bit extra on for the cameras? Sure. But at the end of the day, I think it's important to remember that, you know, this girl was receiving massive amounts of hate. More so what caught my attention was just kind of I was doing everything I could, I just had the purest intentions, like, I could do no wrong. It's a very, like, underlying, I did no wrong, I'm the victim type of thing. I think that's how a lot of people read it. It was mixed feelings, because I look back, and I did heavily defend Tana at the time. I kind of said, you know, oh, this has nothing to do with her, she's just the face of it, like, she's just doing what she can, and I definitely believe that it was both her doing and Good Times, Veeps, all that, you know, back end part of it. I believe there's fault on both parties.
Personally, I think Shane did the best that he could have done with his interviews with Tana. On July 30th, Tana put out her own Tanacon documentary where she sat down and talked about some accusations of manipulation, theft, and predatory behavior from Good Times and Michael Weiss. She also talked quite a bit about the people around her, including her then girlfriend Bella Thorne, who told her not to work with Michael and Good Times for Tanacon.
I think that if people did warn her against it, she wouldn't have done it. She cares a lot about what people think about her, to a certain extent. And if people that are that close to her in her life are saying, don't do this, and she still did it, I don't think that makes sense.
I guess she was too trusting with people who have a bad reputation in the past, if that is the case.
I imagine what happened was Tana made this statement about wanting to throw her own convention, and Michael Weiss saw that as an opportunity. Ultimately, the goal is to make money. Probably told her, we can do this, and she probably believed him. I think Michael made a lot of promises that he couldn't follow through with. I think he knew he couldn't follow through with it, and I think at some point Tana knew and just continued to...
Before the day of the event? You think she knew? She did take responsibility for some things, including the reality that her name is on this event, but she did continually bring up claims that Michael had lied to her and made false promises, and even that he was telling other people that he had made a profit from Tanacon. Now, I'm not saying that he didn't lie to Tana. From the looks of things, it looks like there was a lot of lies thrown around on all fronts, but an apology type of video where you're trying to get your side out there, I don't think that that's a good time to throw on an accusation like that. Maybe just take responsibility for your part and move forward. In Shane's documentary, Michael had accused Tana of going to a party the night the Tanacon had been shut down. Tana admits in this video that she did go to the party, but it was just to go talk to people in her network to try and get advice on how to proceed forward with the event. But at a different point in the video, she does refer to it as her birthday party. The main thing that I found interesting about Tana's video is right around the 44-minute mark, where Tana talks about how Michael's team told her that the night before Tanacon, Michael had cut the number of security in half and canceled the paramedics cosmetics in an effort to save money, and that he had reached out to the Instagram account Always Again USA to have them print up shirts that said security on them. Tana then shows footage from a couple of vlogs of a couple different security guards. She shows good clips because in her clips you can clearly see that there's two different types of shirts. You have the official Got Guard shirts, which was the security company that was hired for Tanacon, and then you have another shirt that says security and seems to have a patch on the side, and these very easily could also be Got Guard security shirts, but I was having difficulty finding videos where you can clearly see what the patch says. I'm not saying this confirms anything, I'm just saying there were at least two different security shirts. There may have been more. For the next couple of months, aside from tweets here and there and questions of whether or not there was going to be a lawsuit.
Are you waiting for someone to contact you to be a part of a lawsuit?
I'm not even gonna lie, yeah, I was. I was like, I put my email in, the description of my video. I was waiting for somebody to just be like, look, this is what we're doing against her. Would you like in? And I would have been like, life is short, why not?
Yeah, I kind of expected that. I did kind of expect that, but I think had it been a bunch of people visiting that were adults, I think it would have happened, but the fact that they were mostly underage girls, mostly, that's not the kind of people that sue.
Were you waiting for someone to contact you about a lawsuit for a class action or anything like that? Were you expecting to hear about that?
I kind of have been. Like, those things happen. I don't know how they find the people involved in class action lawsuits, but, like, they do. And so I've been, like, waiting for something. Because I figured, like, someone would have been like, let's get him,
You still think someone may contact you about this?
It's possible, just in the sense of, like, this is a lawsuit that's going on that, like, you could get benefits from, in a way, Like, I don't think that anyone's going to be like, we need you as a witness, not like that. I just thought I would have at least caught wind of there being a lawsuit, and I haven't heard much of anything.
I know that people, threatened that they would claim legal actions against them and whatnot, but I didn't see that following through in many lights. I'm not sure if anybody actually went as far to do those claims and take the legal actions to get to a point where, they were talking face to face with these people, but I just knew for my sister and I, it wasn't going to pay in the end.
Nothing really related to Tanacon came up, not until October. Shane's Tanacon documentary won Streamies for Best Documentary and Best Editing. Side note, they used quite a bit of my footage in that, so I like to think that my shaky camera work and big forehead also won a Streamy. Right before Halloween, Tana began posting pics and clips of some of her Halloween costumes. One of these had her dressed as a sexy Michael Weist and walking up to the camera and saying, "Hi, I'm gonna lose my house over this," and then laughing.
I can understand how it would be interpreted as, like, making light of a situation that was, it was catastrophic. It was an awful time. It'd be different if it was like an outsider saying, blatantly, oh, at all the sunburn victims. A little bit of a reach on a post that wasn't directly targeted toward every fan that went.
I think it was a joke made in poor taste, and someone around Tana should have told her not to post it. Obviously, this upset Michael, and he announced that he was posting his Tanacon documentary in November, which was going to be the first project from his new company, Good Times TV. Now, this led to rumors that Michael hadn't lost any money from Tanacon, and he had instead used the funds from Tanacon to launch Good Times TV. However, he had registered the LLC a couple months prior to Tanacon. Was he planning to use Tanacon as a marketing opportunity for Good Times TV? Probably. Soon after, emails riddled with typos from Good Times TV confirmed this. In this email, Michael also included information stating that he was filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy for Good Times Live, and that the estimated loss for Good Times from Tanacon was $700,000. He also included that Veeps had control over the ticket sale funds and that Veeps was also in charge of refunds. And he also brought up the claims that Tana had made about refunding everyone for their travel expenses, while also bringing up that she had not yet followed through on these promises. The documentary dropped on November 5th on YouTube.
It was just so poorly done. From editing to context to transitions to everything was just bizarre about it. Like, if anything, all he did was prove that Tana's late to things. For the amount of, like, hype that he was, like, giving it, I was like, this is gonna, like, end her career. And then I looked at it and I was like, this just helped her. It just was not necessary, I feel like. I feel like he was trying to push something, a narrative that just wasn't there.
I didn't really want to give him the credit.
Okay.
I was like, I don't want him getting my views. I don't want him getting money off of me more than he already did. So I didn't watch it. I kind of wish I did because I feel like I would have gotten a lot more out of it.
I watched the whole thing. The main things you need to take away from the Tanacon documentary is that it did in fact prove that Tana was more involved than Michael had let on. It showed that Bella Thorne did seem kind of standoffish to Michael, at least in the few interactions that they had on camera. Tana definitely did know that they only had 200 free tickets for sale.
A lot of people got played.
You're advertising it, you're marketing it, you're doing everything you can to get people there. That's fine, but false advertising is false advertising.
If you're telling people this is a free event, or you could pay $70, when really everyone's paying $70, that's not okay.
And that they were in fact trying to find a second venue the night of the shutdown. Also, it was so shaky, I had to keep pausing it to calm my stomach down. It made me so nauseous. One of my favorite elements of the documentary was the title card sequences at the end, including the one stating that Michael declined an interview for his own documentary. Sometime in the last couple of months, the documentary Tanacon, What Really Happened, was taken down off of YouTube because Michael Weiss deleted the Good Times TV YouTube channel, deactivated the Good Times TV Twitter, and it appears that Michael Weiss has liquidated the Good Times TV company. On January 14th, Michael announced on his Twitter that he was launching his new business venture, a record label and media group titled Juice Crate Media Group. As far as I could see, Tanacon What Really Happened is now only available on Amazon. If you do not have a Prime account, it is $1.99 to rent and $7.99 to buy. Please do not waste your money on this. It has 4 one-star reviews, and this one is my favorite. After Michael's documentary dropped, Keemstar from Drama Alert tweeted out that Tana should do a Tanacon 2 because no one would be expecting it at this point. Tana responded essentially saying that that's the tea. What's something that you think would be better for a future Tanacon?
The biggest problem was just not enough security and the space being too small. I wouldn't create an event at the same time as another big event going on. I mean, I'd be happy to help her set it up. She should have went with me, obviously, instead of a good time, but that would have fixed everything, definitely.
I had a lot of people like asking me, like, would you go again? Would you go if she did it again? Heck if I know.
Yeah.
I went on a win last time.
Maybe if she gets bigger with her MTV and stuff, maybe. I don't know. It surely have to be better run.
If MTV put one on.
If MTV put it on, like sponsored by MTV.
Yeah, I might do that.
Truly do not think I would go, but for the sake of the people that would, like my top 3 points would be real security, a real planner, and more humility, ultimately.
Playlist coming out saying they were going to be throwing Tanacon 2.0 and helping her and stuff. When I was at Playlist this past year in March, they had said, they were partnering with her, and I was like, I don't know.
They said that at Playlist?
Yeah, one of the representatives was like, I'm really not supposed to tell you this, but, we're working on a deal with Tana to, because he knew I was from the video. So he was one of the guys at registration. He basically just said, I'm not supposed to say this, but we're talking to Tana back and forth and trying to come up with, arrangement where we can do Tanacon 2.0. She doesn't have to worry about VidCon stepping in, and we'll have it to where security measures are in place, because Playlist ran very smoothly. If they outright said it will be this time next year, I would pretty much be already half in at that point. Just because, to me, that says professional.
My opinion on this is that there is a lot that needs to happen before Tanacon 2.0 can happen, including Tana following through on the promises she made to the people that were affected by the last event. These tweets are still active on her Twitter at the time of filming this. Tana was nominated for the YouTuber of the Year Shorty Awards alongside Shane Dawson, who later won in May.
I think Shane has a hell of a lot to do with that. I think she gained, a good amount of empathy in her later videos talking about it and how depressed she was at the time and how much she went through during that time and everything. So I think that over the months, I think that she was able to gain back a lot of her, diehard fans. And I think that showed in her, receiving the nominee.
You're kidding me.
She was nominated. She didn't win. Shane Dawson won.
Okay, that's all that matters. That is ridiculous. Like I said, there's so many other people that have the talent that should be eligible that aren't because of people like her.
It's a spit in the face to so many other creators and good people, is how I feel.
I mean, even if you're controversial, she was one of the biggest creators at the time. But yeah, she was one of the biggest creators at the time from all the publicity going on about how bad Tanacon was.
Tana announced in April that she was getting her own MTV show titled Tana Turns 21, which is currently filming.
Why MTV? There are so many other people that have the talent, that have, the numbers, that have, let's say, the face to have their own show, and yet they chose Tana Mojo.
To each his own. Like, I don't wish any ill harm or anything towards her. It's just not really my cup of tea.
And in May, Tana announced that she would not only be attending VidCon, but she would be a featured creator at VidCon.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Well, she has been banned in the past, and obviously that's why Tanacon happened.
Well, I think it's a good move by VidCon for marketing, because if Tanacon tried to do another successful Tanacon, well, not another Tanacon that happened to be successful, which people were making rumors that she might do another one. I guess by adding her as a featured creator, that prevents her from creating competition.
She was, first of all, kicked out, and that's why she created Tanacon, to be a big FU, you know? And then they bring her back because she has an MTV show. And now she has all this hype.
I'm surprised she didn't do another Tanacon. I think it could be them being like, hey, we're sorry. I think it could be them being like, please don't do that again. And I think it could be more draw for them, because people want to see the disaster. That's why I went to Tanacon. I do think that because she's a featured creator, she's going to be watched very closely, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for walking out into public and creating a mob kind of situation.
I was trying really hard not to get too off-put by it. I feel like when you leave things on the table, you know, this is the worst organization, you make such strong claims, it looks a little bit of like a sellout to me when you just automatically take what's handed to you. What would have made a huge impression to me, and I think a lot of other fans, is had she turned it down and just said, you know, I appreciate the offer, but I still stay true to what I feel like you guys do in terms of treating creators a certain way and charging people a certain way, and everything that she still claimed, I feel like, why doesn't that still remain true?
If you're familiar with my channel, you know that I'm not the best with endings, but the reality is that there really isn't an ending right now. Tanacon 2.0 is up in the air, apparently. Good Times as a brand seems to be finished. Promises that were made to attendees affected by Tanacon have not been delivered. There seems to be no more talk of a lawsuit unless I'm missing something. And Tana's career seems to be doing better than ever. I want to say thank you to everyone who agreed to be interviewed by me. You were all great, and all of their information will be linked down below. This is Elixir. Do you want to sign off or anything?
Okay, bye-bye.
Check out my channel, Lissa Ray. Link in the description.
Bye. Thanks for watching.
It's been a pleasure, so thank you so much for having me, and I'll see you on the other side.
Yeah. Also, as I am posting this on the same day as Tanacon was a year ago, it also happens to be Tana's birthday. So while we're here...
Happy birthday, Tana.
Happy birthday, Tana.
Tana, I hope your day is better than it was last year. I do wish her the best. So, happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday, Tana.
Special thank you to my patrons, Sarah, Byron, and Aaron. If you would also like to support me on my Patreon, the link will be down below. I post extra content there, including the recordings of the full interviews for this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. That's it. Peace out. Rock on. Sleep tight. Happy birthday, Tana. If there were to be another Tanacon. Anything else you want to add?
Have you got an ad for a burrito blanket?
I have seen ads for burrito blankets before, yes.
It's just wonderful.
Oh yeah, apparently he was selling those for a video he was working on. Elixir, dude, I can't even be mad that you used my video for marketing. That's just brilliant.